Hey, everybody, and welcome to Cocktails and Classics. My name is Dylan McPhee. With me are my good friends and college buddies. Introduce yourself, guys.
Yeah, so I'm Zach, one of Dylan's friends and college buddies, as previously announced. Kick it over to Ben. Ben, who are you?
Jesus Christ. I am Ben. I've seen quite a few movies in my time, and I'm excited to be here while Cameron watches some of these classic films.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cameron, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Cameron, and I'm the one that has not seen any of these movies. So here we are. And then is Carlos up there somewhere?
Carlos,
bring us home.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh my god.
Hey guys, this is Carlos. Also makeshift, helping with the bartending on this show. Hopefully, to whip up some good old cocktails to go along with these movies.
That's news to me.
But yeah.
Cool. So
Yeah, you also have to give your full name and address. So everybody go around.
Credit card numbers.
Bank account info. Oh yeah.
And social security number is optional.
So
Anyway, yeah, why don't you explain what we're doing here?
So the point of the podcast, our buddy Cameron, he has apparently never seen some great
Quite a few of them.
movies. So, yeah, spawned from a discussion about Jurassic Park. He's never seen Jurassic Park. So, obviously, episode 1 got to kick off with Jurassic Park. We're going to give a little banter. We're going to give you a cocktail recipe to kind of signature cocktail to go with the movie. And then we're going to watch it, come back, give you a little review, pick Cameron's brain, see what he thinks. So the idea for this podcast came from a conversation between Cameron and myself talking about Jurassic Park. And in that conversation, you said you had never watched Jurassic Park before.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen Jurassic Park. Have seen Jurassic World though. One with Chris Pratt. I like that one. That was a good one.
So what made you watch Jurassic World without seeing the other
Well,
movies
it's
first?
just a movie that came out at the time. I mean, the main thing is I usually see these types of movies in the theater, and so I don't really watch them at home very much. So Jurassic Park being a lot older than I would have seen in the theater, I would never have seen it.
Do you said you don't know any
Nope,
plot?
I don't really know
I
any
like
of the plot. I mean, the main thing I know is that there's a park that's Jurassic, and that some weird stuff happens and the dinosaurs get loose or some shit. I don't know.
You bet Jurassic.
No, boo! Oh no!
Yeah, so I don't know anything about the plot. I do know that Jeff Goldblum is in it, which is cool. Yeah.
If you know about the dinosaurs and you're about good to go. If you know about the Jeep, that's a +1.
Okay, I do know about the Jeep, but mostly
Perfect.
because of the Jurassic World movie where it had a cameo.
Yes. Well, what's his face from Law & Order SVU? He's in it. You're gonna love it.
Oh my God, is Christopher Maloney in this movie?
No, B.D. Wong.
Oh, not that guy. Yeah. Oh, I did know that he's in Jurassic World too.
Yep, that's actually a
Plays the same
throwback.
guy. Yeah, he plays the same
As
guy.
the same
Throwback
character.
to this one.
Yeah,
That's good. You get to see the origin story.
Samuel L. Jackson's in this movie.
Yes.
Oh, hell
Yes,
yeah.
he is.
Yes.
I feel like Cam's getting too much
yeah.
information right now on IMDb.
He's
No,
on
it's fine.
IMDb.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm not looking at any plot. I'm just looking at the actors and stuff, knowing what I'm getting into. I knew Laura Dern was in there.
She is one of the main characters.
Oh, also, I don't know if I've ever seen Terminator all the way through.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Keep a running list.
Now that I'm looking at movies down here in the bottom, Indiana
Jesus,
Jones definitely not. I have seen Back to the Future. I have seen Die Hard. Yeah.
All right, so
Good.
maybe
I did hear you haven't seen a great classic from 1989 that we need to rectify.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen Batman from 1989
That
apparently,
being
but I've heard the
Burton's
George Clooney
Batman.
version is better. Actually, I've heard the one with George
Yeah, there
Clooney
is-
is better.
there's Batman.
And George Clooney. What's
God,
not
I
to
hate
like?
you. I hate you so much.
The Danny DeVito one was the best.
Ooh.
I hate everything you choose to be.
I guess Zach and Carlos, if one of you could or are interested in speaking on, kind of like what Jurassic Park, like what it means to you, how it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
so this was a
your
movie
thoughts on
that
it?
I saw as a kid, post 1993. I was huge into dinosaurs as a kid, 5, 6 years old, had the typical Tyrannosaurus Rex and whatever toys. I was also big into the Land Before Time, so I was trying to suck in all the dinosaurs that I could. And Jurassic Park was kind of my first real taste of like live action dinosaur, which was fantastic. Great movie. Jeff Goldblum's always a hoot. Spielberg's obviously great. Carlos, you got anything to add on that?
Pretty much the same thing. I mean, I was a big fan of Jurassic Park when I was like, when I was younger, and actually probably like I can remember like when I was like in first or second grade, I was probably writing in school like how I wanted to be like a paleontologist, and that was probably because of the movie. So kind of grown out of that, but also the same thing, having all the dinosaur toys like when I was younger. A lot of the stuff that like a lot of the same toys that like you probably wouldn't see now, but pretty like nostalgic stuff that kind of goes along with the movie. Besides like scenes from the movie, like I guess iconic like actors, and of course like Spielberg, again, with him carrying over his work into like the other movies as well. I kind of just ended up owning like the whole movie collection. So
Yeah,
that was pretty
dinosaurs were
cool.
the shit.
Which is your favorite Jurassic Park movie?
Ooh. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the first one. Maybe the original. I like Jurassic Park 3 quite a bit too, and the new ones are pretty good. Jurassic World was good, but I guess I would say Jurassic Park. This one we're about to watch is my favorite. Just seen it so many times. The Jeff Goldblum factor, Sam Jackson. Fun fact: Harrison Ford was almost in this movie.
There's a-
Just a little bit to add on top.
oh,
Yeah, I do remember that. I do gotta agree with you though. Number 3 is probably up there with my favorite. I mean, I think that dinosaur that they introduced into number 3, the
Oh, yeah.
Spinosaurus. I mean, it was just absolutely badass. So that was kind of the pull factor for me. Number 1 is always classic though. If it's ever on,
the other
always
thing-
sit down and watch it.
I think one of the big things with number 3 was the fact that it came out at an age where we could watch it and enjoy it. With the first 2, I mean, number 1 came out in 93. I can't remember when number 2 came out.
I think it was like 98, 99?
Yeah, it was 97 or 98.
97.
Yeah. I think most of us were, I mean, still pretty young to see Jurassic Park.
So I just looked it up, and Jurassic
So
Park
I think by the
came
time,
out in 2001.
so I think by that time we that was a time where I think most of our parents probably would have been okay with taking us to go see it, as opposed to like number 1 came out before we were born. Number 2 came out. I mean, we were like 3, so it would have been pretty traumatizing for most of us. And I think that it just number 2, I guess, and number 3 came out at a time where we could kind of be at an age to go see that movie and then kind of have it mean something to us. And I think that's why number 3 definitely stands out as among our favorites.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Like, we were definitely like older when it came out. So yeah, I remember. I mean, it's definitely not the best by any means. Like, it's a pretty bad movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Looking back
Screw
on
all
it,
you guys.
maybe we'll watch
No,
the series. It's Jurassic Park 3. Looking back, was kind of rough. But it was great at the time.
I mean,
It is, but yeah, no, I've probably seen it more than any of the other.
I think
ones.
that's the way it is, though. I think that's the way it is, though, with a lot of the movies that you see at Nostalgia Glass, especially when you see it in theaters. Like, I remember going to see 3 in theaters with my grandma. She was the one who took us to see them. I don't know why. I guess maybe my parents didn't want to. But I do remember going to see it, and I guess that's kind of, when you think of it in that nostalgia way, you're like, oh my God, that one was so great. And then you kind of go back and watch it, and maybe it was not so great.
Rate the episode, rate the movie as you remember it, but don't share it now. But so write it down, and then at the end, you guys can reveal what you rated before and if you would change it, and then I'll say what. Well, first maybe I'll say what I rated the movie, and then you guys can say it.
So you'll rate it what you think it is
not
right
me,
now.
because I've never seen it.
We get the first time reviewer, the fresh virgin eyes.
So I get to so I'll review it, and then you guys will reveal your ratings and what you would change it to.
Oh man, you're gonna break Dino Zach's heart.
0. This movie blows. Okay, did you guys write down your what you guys think the rating is for this movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
No.
What are the units?
You want to hear it? No, I'm just...
Out of 10.
Out of 10 units, I got you.
Yeah. The unit is Udals?
Yes. Udals.
How many Udals does this movie give you?
Hopefully 0.
To go along with like these movies that our buddy Cameron, in his movies, Zach and I have kind of done a little bit of research, and the rest of us also probably will too. But looking up some cocktails that kind of go with the theme of whatever movie we're on for that specific podcast. And so, for this week, obviously it's prehistoric, it's dinosaurs, it's action adventure. So whatever cocktails that we figure out, or kind of go with this movie. Hopefully, if you're listening to this podcast and maybe you check it out later, hey, if you're feeling adventurous, check these cocktails out, see if you like them, and then check out the next ones that we'll recommend for you. Of course, we'll give credit where credit's due, because some of these either come from our brain or from the brains of others. So feel free to obviously let us know if that's if there's like suggestions that you have for any recipes that you might have. But one I have right now sitting in front of me, I got a shout out to recipegirl.com on the lava flow cocktail. So given it's prehistoric times, and theoretically scientists are saying that dinosaurs were wiped out by meteor shower, and of course, like,
yeah, if they even existed though, right? Come on, guys, right?
Fire. Exactly. Even if they existed, right? But yeah, shout out to Recipe Girl providing this one, the lava flow cocktail, with some strawberries, some ice, light rum, banana, pineapple juice, coconut milk, fresh pineapple. So it looks pretty good. It's a pretty tropical drink, but once you blend all the ingredients together, kind of has like a mixture, like kind of comes out looking almost like half of like a strawberry daiquiri, half of a pina colada. So
yeah, my favorite part of that.
Tasty.
I love that you call that research. That's perfect. I feel like I spent most of my college years and maybe a few years after doing research for this sort of thing. I've been studying up for this exam, and I think I'm ready to pass.
I think I'm ready. Yeah, I was like, we finally have this ready to go.
And you can check that link in the show notes below.
Did you head over to recipegirl.com?
You found the exact...
Yeah, it was just pulled up on Google. Recipegirl.com was the first one that popped up. That was pretty dope.
I pulled her up.
I assumed Carlos did when you asked him about this.
My girl Lori Lang, Recipe Girl, cookbook author, mom, enjoyer of over 300,000, 3,000.
She definitely has a live, laugh, love sign up in her dining room. You know she does. It says like eat, pray, sleep or something right above her staircase.
Oh my god!
But shout out, thanks for the drink concoction. It's delicious. We're obviously starting this during the great coronation of 2020. Our goal is to eventually get this in person, but currently we're all suffering together over Zoom. But hopefully in the future we have a little piece where we get together, do this in person, and we can all share the drink together. But until then, live, laugh, love, pray, sleep, whatever they say.
This is just our maiden voyage. Grab your, what was it, Carlos?
Recipe girl. What did Recipe Girl say?
It's Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Lava
Shark
Flow.
Boy and Lava
Your lava flow.
Lava Flow. Grab your Shark
Flow.
Boy and Lava Girl. Grab your Lava Flow from Recipe Girl. Sit back and fucking spill my drink everywhere. But let's watch some Jurassic Park.
Oh, he's already seen it. He knows the theme. It's over.
He knows the theme.
Let's go straight to the Green Mile.
God.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Well, welcome back from Jurassic Park, the 1993 Steven Spielberg masterpiece.
What a classic.
Or in my mind, I guess. I don't know. Everyone is open to their own opinion. So, Jurassic Park, give a little recap. John Hammond, owner of Jurassic Park, needs 2 scientists to sign off on the park before the investors will allow him to continue running the park. In comes Dr. Ian Malcolm and Alan Grant and his fiancée, Laura Dern's character, who I don't know the name of, or wife, I don't know.
Yeah, Laura Dern, though.
Yes, I do know Laura Dern now. So they go to Jurassic Park. They see the park. John Hammond's grandkids show up. They freaking shit goes awry, and power goes out. Dinosaurs attack, and it's kind of I'd say action, adventure, horror, sci-fi sort of.
It's really just a thriller.
Yeah,
I mean, I was thrilled the whole time.
Spielberg is really
Edge of the seat excitement.
I think Spielberg's really good at kind of blending that adventure / horror genre. Kind of with Jaws and with this movie, he kind of flexes that muscle, I guess.
Did Spielberg do fucking what's the movie with the little
E.T.
shit?
Troll 2.
Gremlins?
You're thinking of E.T., the little
I don't
guy,
think,
the little
I
green
don't think
guy.
he did Gremlins.
Did he do Gremlins?
No, I don't think so.
You sure?
No, a guy
Oh,
named
Joe
Joe Dante. But Kathleen Kennedy did produce it, who also produced this movie.
Writer Chris Columbus, who would go on to do Harry Potter 1 and 2 and
Wow.
Home Alone.
Solid Harry Potter movies. Solid Home Alone.
Cam, have you seen the Harry Potter 1 and 2?
I have seen all the Harry Potter movies, I think.
What about Home Alone?
And I have seen Home Alone. That was a good one.
Any popular memes in the movies?
There were many. Wow.
Yeah, there
so
were a
many
few good
memes. It was
ones.
great. Yeah.
Cam, do you now have context
Yeah.
to all of the Jurassic Park memes that exist?
All of them that were in that movie.
So no one cares.
So no one cares. I honestly, that was the only meme that I was surprised to see. I didn't realize that was from this movie.
Oh, really? But you knew
the meme.
Life Finds a Way?
Well, because I did know Life Finds a Way.
But you knew Newman.
And that
at
crazy
some
son of
point.
a bitch, they did it.
They
whatever.
did it. Do you guys love that meme culture is like we've kind of gone back to like Egyptian hieroglyphics? It's like we spent so much time like writing books and reading books, and now we're back to like 2020, and we all communicate through images and like maybe 4 words. Tell us any questions remaining from the movie? Anything you thought would be in there that wasn't, or any questions you have after watching it?
Well, yeah. So I thought the movie was really good. So what's the big dude's name? What's the actor's name or whatever?
Newman. He's in Seinfeld.
Newman, sure.
Yeah, it's like
I forget
Yeah,
his actual name.
Oh,
Barbara's little
is
guy.
it's like Dennis or
I
something.
don't know that guy.
The-
Isn't he in Flubber
the
too?
actor's
Something like
name
that?
is
Yeah.
Wayne.
No, it's
The
Robin
actor's
Williams.
name is Wayne Knight.
Okay, that guy, sure.
Yeah.
So that guy,
Billy Madison. He's the principal.
It's
Oh
so weird.
yeah, he's the luchador. The luchador
yeah,
principal.
he is.
I
That's
love you,
right.
Billy. He writes him
I
a
love you,
Valentine's Day
Billy.
card.
Yes.
Oh, we got to get Billy Madison on the podcast. That would be great.
Yeah, Wayne.
I've seen that movie, man.
Wayne.
Shit, it's not
Wayne
making
Knight.
on.
He's also Bill Murray's. He's also Bill Murray's assistant in Space.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's right. Mhm.
Fun fact: Bill Murray also in Osmosis Jones. I didn't realize that till like 8th grade when I finally watched Osmosis Jones.
Oh, well, you didn't realize it until you watched the movie. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying? Okay,
that's how that
cool.
goes.
Anyway, so his character, I was kind of confused because he's supposedly this like smart coder guy or whatever. Then he does all these really stupid things and gets himself maybe eaten. I don't know. Is that implied? I don't know. We never saw him like die.
Yeah, I think.
But I think he's dead just based on that. And then the can of Barbasol with the embryos in it is just like gone. I presume that might be the plot for the second movie, but it's just like buried in the rubble or the dirt somewhere.
The one guy does say that it only lasts up to 36 hours. So I think
that's true.
They're dead.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, going back watching this as a kid, the whole Barbasol thing and the
Are you a kid now or a kid?
No, going way back when I was first watching it.
Okay.
I don't know if I tuned out the whole plot of like I'll just call him Newman, trying to steal,
industrial espionage.
Of Newman trying to steal, the espionage plot of him trying to steal the embryos and taking it to the competitor, but completely flew over my head until I was an adult.
Well, that's like,
and then the conversation with him and David Attenborough's brother, just chit chatting about the. There hasn't been much compensation talk. He's clearly upset about being underpaid, so that's why he's doing this whole deal. Completely flew over my head watching it as a kid. I was just like, oh, maybe I just wanted to see some cool dinosaurs on screen.
Weird. He called him dad. Is he actually his dad?
I don't think so.
Not, but I don't know. He said dad, which seemed kind of weird to me.
Listen,
but then he had his grandkids there, and I was like, well, okay, weird.
I think he was just being like sarcastic because he didn't want to just have him like hound him about.
They were ahead of their time in '93, calling people dad and stuff. It's a real 2019, 2020 thing.
Oh my god, not exactly the same thing. I think.
Yeah. I think had he been serious, you'd think the kids would have said something about their uncle also working at the park throughout that entire movie, and they didn't. So I'm going to assume that was sarcasm.
Yeah, probably. It just seemed weird that he would, and then he's on like, oh, you got financial troubles. It's like, yeah, I need more money. It's like, no, weird. No, I don't know. I don't think that there were any open-ended things. I mean,
yeah, was anything surprising? Did anything happen you didn't expect, or was the plot of the movie basically what you thought it was going to be?
What the hell? I didn't want Samuel Jackson to die like a bitch off screen. What the hell was that?
Yeah, it happens.
That was stupid.
He had to get prepped for the Avengers movies. He was getting that eye patch fitted.
God. But yeah,
some say he still just walks the island without an arm.
Come on, Samuel Jackson ain't going out like
that. That's
pre
Samuel L. Jackson getting casted for Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
because like now, if he's in anything, it's like,
I think
you gotta say, you gotta say, come on,
say the line, say the line.
Was this the last? Was this the last movie he did? Was this the last movie he did before getting cast in Tarantino's Pulp Fiction?
Well, no, because what year did that Die Hard with a Vengeance come out?
Yeah, so Pulp Fiction came out the year after Jurassic Park.
There it is. Yeah,
Jurassic Park came out in 93. Pulp Fiction was 94.
So then I wonder if Die Hard with a Vengeance was 95 then, because I feel like he was already pretty popular then.
It
with
did
him and
come
Bruce
out
Willis.
That's crazy. Do you guys know Sam Jackson is 71 years old? Isn't that crazy?
What?
That's great for 71.
He does, doesn't he?
So I want to know, Cameron. What do you think about the CGI? Just I guess the overall quality of the movie, and
I thought it didn't look. Yeah, I mean, I thought it actually looked pretty good for being a film from 1993. especially because like the Phantom Menace came out in like '99, and that movie's CGI holds up terribly today. Like I think that CGI in this movie looks way better than the one in Phantom Menace. But it also didn't help that in Phantom Menace they used a lot of like they did a lot of CGI in the background in addition to the characters. So like you'd have these backgrounds that were like super flat and had no detail whatsoever. And then in this movie, it was just like some of the dinosaurs were CGI'd in, which was with regular foregrounds and backgrounds. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, I think the blend of practical effects with computer, they did a good job blending it to the point where it really doesn't as dated as I mean, if you were to show this to someone and ask them when this movie came out, I don't think they'd look at you and go, well, this is obviously, this has to be 93. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, it holds up well just as much as anything else.
Yeah, really, it doesn't seem
in
dated.
The next, I'd say almost decade following. No,
well, what also helped
too
was that Spielberg was using like combination of animatronic and CGI. So I think they had a lot of like texturing stuff that they were doing like already, like with the T-Rex and like the Raptors and stuff. Like they had already built like full scale like models of them for some of these scenes.
Yeah, I think I think this movie kind of stands as an argument for practical effects versus CG. And I think it kind of shows that practical effects can hold up even, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Also, so I think we talked about this in the first half, but what did you guys rate it? And then what is your rating now after having seen it?
I said I give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Ooh. Coming from Dylan.
It holds a very nostalgic piece of my.
Do you still rate it a 9 out of 10 after watching it again?
I don't think of it any less.
Okay.
It is very campy.
A little bit.
But I think that's also like Spielberg's style.
Yeah.
In a sense. Like he doesn't take anything.
I'm just glad he didn't end the movie with aliens.
But
because he has done that.
yeah. Well, multiple ones. Close Encounter of the Third Kind.
Wow, that's
solid aliens.
But like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, it's like not aliens until the last like 10 minutes of the movie, which is really fucking stupid.
Don't. That movie doesn't exist. No one. No, that movie never came out. It never happened.
It was such a solid movie. It was such a solid movie until the last 10 minutes, and then it was like, oh,
no,
aliens.
There are
cool.
3. There are 3 Indiana Jones movies, and the 4th one is apparently in production. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. All right, cool. Okay,
so
never was in Indiana Jones
Zach,
movie.
what did you give this one?
Yeah, so I originally wrote down my rating as like I haven't seen this movie in probably 4 or 5 years, so I was thinking back to like nostalgic, dinosaur loving type of deal. Remembering the soundtrack to this movie was great, and thinking I gave this movie an 8 out of 10 before I watched it. After watching it again, looking at some of the, I don't know if I was just more critical this time going around, but some of the, why were the kids in certain places? Why were they chit-chatting with certain people, sitting on other people's laps during the helicopter ride? I dropped it down. I gave it a 6. I was like,
whoa,
right. Yeah. So let me explain this. It's a very, very good movie. I highly recommend everybody see this movie. If for some reason you haven't, if you're a Cameron and you haven't seen Jurassic Park, definitely watch it. But I'm anticipating things going forward. Like, I don't know, Cameron, have you seen The Godfather? If not, okay, well, I mean, that's going to be a 10. Like, there are some movies that are 10s.
That's a good
There are
point.
some movies that are 1s.
Well, I haven't seen The Godfather Part 2, which I've heard is also great.
All right, so that's also going to be a 9 or a 10. But I want to give myself room to grow. I want to give myself room to figure things out. I could see this movie squeezing into a 7. It's really good. Everybody should see it.
Okay.
Just some oddities.
Yeah, there's a couple weird dialogue lines where I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it was the 90s, you know? People were wearing like weird blue and green shit and white jackets, and Saved by the Bell was cool at the beginning of it, and it's like, all right. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I heading into it, well, I jokingly gave it a 0. That was a joke. I did not mean for that to hold up. So the rating I actually gave it going into it was a 7 out of 10. It's been, I don't even know how long. It's probably been close to 7 or 8 years since I've seen this movie. I don't think I've seen it since high school. So it's been a long time. And I think the 7 holds up. The practical effects still look good. It blends well with the CG. It doesn't seem, some of the dialogue seems dated, but that's going to happen. I mean, you could look at a movie that came out today and, 17, 20 years from now, hell, longer than that, almost 30 years, people are going to look at it and be like, oh, that dialogue's kind of dated. It's just going to be the case. But I think overall the movie holds up well. The story is still good. It still has it's not as intense as I remember it being. It doesn't hold that kind of, I don't know how to put it. That feeling there that something's going to happen near as much as I thought it did. But I think the 7 still holds up. I think it's still a good movie. Yeah, I guess so. Or maybe after you see it, you're just not, you kind of know what to expect. So it doesn't feel like the anxiety and the tension is really there for the movie anymore. But I still think overall, I think the 7 rating still holds. I think it's still, it's not the perfect movie. It's not, I don't watch it now and go, man, this is better than I remember it being. But it still definitely holds up. So I think that 7 holds strong.
I think,
Carlos?
I agree with you there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I agree with you there. But like the scene where they're in the kitchen with the velociraptor is just so iconic.
It's really intense.
It's classic. Yeah. And they figure out how to open doors.
Yeah, that scene, I think.
Clever girl.
Yeah, that scene, I think, definitely is one of the ones that.
I personally like the
That
topless
is one that
scene.
holds strong. I think that's one of the scenes that definitely.
Jeff
Yes,
Goldblum's
that topless scene. I like that one. That was a good one. I just like the setup. Can you imagine? Like the setup is like, all right, here's what we want. We want Jeff. We just want you to lay there. Okay, shirt open, all right, but like draped over behind you. Am I going to say anything? No. You're just going to stare off into the distance, and we're going to shoot you for like a solid 10 seconds like that. Okay, and go. Probably nailed it on the first take too. Class act, professional. All right, Carlos.
I mean, there's a reason.
Well, okay. I don't know. To start, I gave it before because I probably haven't seen this movie in a few years at least either. I've really probably only caught it if it's on TV, but even then they obviously cut it for time and stuff. But I gave it a 7 at first, just and then afterwards bumped it up to an 8 just because a lot now understanding a lot more of the actual plot between stealing the embryos and stuff. I mean that all kind of went over my head. So for a first time watcher, I could see how someone would kind of miss the details about that and just kind of,
I feel like,
I don't know, it could be bypassed pretty much because I mean if you're someone who plans on watching the entire series, you're probably gonna find out that bits and pieces of that plot don't really matter as much really. But there was a special that I saw one time it had something to do with how they went about making the movie, and that's where I like found out about a lot of like the CGI versus like the practical like effects that they use, and like the scale models of the dinosaurs and stuff. But and that's also why I kind of give it like an 8, and like at least like maybe like a high 8, close to a 9, just because of like the amount of creativity that they did. Like I remember the one thing that blew my mind was the way they created the vibrations in the water in the rearview mirror of the car. Was that they ran a almost like a giant, it was almost like a giant guitar string underneath the car, and they had someone plucking it for that scene to create the vibrations throughout the whole car. And I mean, just like it was just stuff like that kind of was just like, wow, that's pretty dope. And the fact that they it was actually kind of funny, the animatronic T-Rex, they actually had to keep it warm because the machines were cooling off so much from the amount of rain or the amount of like water that they were dumping on the set, that they had to keep cooling it off, or they had to keep drying it off, because I guess the animatronic almost kind of kept like not malfunctioning, but just kind of not acting in like a smooth like function to where they would make it look lifelike. But I mean, like obviously hours and hours of tweaking all that stuff. I mean, I kind of have an appreciation for it, which is pretty good. And of course, the Jeff Goldblum open shirt too. So
yeah, plus one for
but,
that, right?
But I think when the last Jurassic Park came out, there was a theater in London that honored the opening night. They had a giant inflatable Jeff Goldblum, like the shirtless Jeff Goldblum that they had outside the theater that people could take photos with, which was pretty hilarious. But yeah, it was yeah, that was pretty sweet. That was pretty funny that they did that. But I think plot wise and just overall like impact for like the next Jurassic Park movies, yeah, I'm rolling with an 8.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, the industrial sabotage just seems like a plot that they keep like.
That's what I was gonna say.
As well.
Yeah.
Because in Jurassic World, there's the same thing. Like the dude from Law and Order, what's
BD Wong.
BD Wong, yeah. The doctor in the lab in
not
both
him.
the show and the movie.
Not him. In Jurassic World.
Wait, not him?
Also BD Wong. Come on, man.
No.
Wait, hold on. Who is it in SVU?
Vincent DeForno.
BD Wong is in SVU.
Yes.
Is it really Vincent DeForno? Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, Cam.
He is in Jurassic Park,
really?
or Jurassic World, and like his character is also like trying to sabotage shit, like industrial sabotage or something, and they just like glance.
Well, it's weird because I feel like the only reason it's just weird. Like that was a weird subplot in this movie, because like I feel like the only reason they had that in the movie was to have some excuse for all the park stuff to malfunction. Like that's it. Like it was literally like, oh, okay, so like the idea, and I know this comes from the book, but it's like, oh, okay, so like how, like, okay, we have these dinosaurs, and how do we make them like break out? It's like, okay, well, someone just shuts it all off. Why? Oh, I don't know. They're trying to sneak something out of the park. All right, cool, yeah, let's roll with it. I don't know. It feels kind of weird. Like it feels like there were no consequences to that action other than like a couple people dying and stuff. Like.
Yeah, that brings up a couple interesting things. One is until doing we'll call it research for this initial podcast, I didn't know that Jurassic Park the movie was based on a book. Maybe that's I had no idea. But the second thing is the movie starts off with the lawyer being pulled in on like a raft in the Dominican Republic because of the initial scene we see where the worker is like torn apart by like this velociraptor or something. And the very first like main character casualty is the same lawyer / pedophile person. Like the whole plot like shows up and then immediately disappears as soon as possible. The guy with his pants on sitting on the...
Yeah, there were just weird extra things that seemed to not matter in the scope of the movie in some of those regards.
Yeah, I mean, also, what happened? Did that guy's family ever get paid? Did they not? What happened there? We just kind of left that at a total
Also, does
cliffhanger.
that park have employees?
The whole setup of the movie, and they never explained what happened.
Does that park have employees? Like, I feel like in the first scene we saw like 30 or not 30. I don't know. We saw like 20 dudes like trying to contain these raptors or whatever, and then the paleontologists get to the park, and there's like 5 employees that we see.
No,
there's no one.
Yeah,
there is no one there.
I feel like I feel like it was like more like contractors than actual.
Yeah.
Because I mean, technically they hadn't even opened yet.
So there's actually one very very quick line that Newman. You guys will correct me who the actor is, but it's Newman basically from Seinfeld. He says early on, Wayne, whatever his name's Newman.
Wayne Knight.
Yeah, Wayne Knight, sure. So Newman says early in the film,
Wayne Newman?
says, I'm this great coder. Nobody can let this park run for like 3 days straight without me or whatever. And this is when they get into the whole debate talk with David Attenborough's brother. And
I think it's Richard Attenborough. Maybe?
It basically sounds like they're going to close this park down and they're going to let this thing run without people for 3 days. And it is a plot hole, but it's quickly covered up by Newman in that one little line sentence.
Throwaway lines.
Yeah, it's a throwaway, but
I love throwaway lines.
Sort of covers it up.
Let's explain giant plot holes by one little quick throwaway dialogue. It's great.
Perfect.
Well, I was just reading the DNA, that whole little like animation, is used to explain multiple pages of exposition from the book in like
great job.
4 minutes.
They did a Schoolhouse Rock version of like all this stupid science shit I don't care about.
I did think it was interesting. I think I've seen this on Reddit though. Is they did a little foreshadowing with the females, because in the beginning he tries to put 2 female connectors together, and it doesn't work. But instead he ties it together for the belt buckle, like the like seatbelt.
Ooh.
And so he like puts them together. He can't do it, so he ties them together, and that's kind of like foreshadowing later when the females like figure it out how to mate on the island.
Life finds a way. And that's honestly the downfall of this
you.
podcast is that
Look at
it's
you,
just like 5 or 6 dudes hanging out chit-chatting, and eventually all of our girlfriends and wives are going to figure out how to do this without us. They're not going to need us anymore.
Yeah. God creates dinosaurs.
Life finds a way.
Womankind inherits the earth or whatever.
See, nobody cares.
Yeah. Exactly.
But as far as like stunt actors, the one I want to see is the one who played the kid as soon as he got electrified.
Oh
like,
my
off
god,
that fence.
that was the funniest
off
part.
the fence.
I want to see the
That was
zip line
funniest
they
part
yanked
of the
him back
whole movie,
on.
where that kid just yeeted himself off of the thing as he was getting electrocuted.
Couldn't you just hear like an R2D2 like
Yeah,
just getting,
I'm
getting
surprised I
shocked
didn't
by
hear
Jawas
like
just getting flown across the screen? That
surprised
was
I
so
didn't hear
funny.
a Wilhelm scream or something like that. Ah! Or whatever. God,
Oh my god.
that was the
A
funniest.
Wilhelm scream would have been perfect in that situation.
Yeah, that would have been great. But as far as the score I gave, so I actually gave it an 8. I thought it was a good movie.
Nice. First time viewer, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, so like I don't know, the things I look for in movies is like the main thing is, do I get bored? Like, am I like watching the clock waiting for this movie to end, or am I like, does it feel like it's been 2 hours? And I don't think it has. So I think it did well. It was entertaining. The movie holds up. There were a couple of little weird like dialogue quirks and, like I said, subplots that I don't think really matter in the scope of the movie.
You gotta watch Jurassic Park too.
But yeah, I thought it was good. It was entertaining. It was a fun movie.
Yeah, and Jeff Goldblum was in it, so it's solid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Although it dinged half a point because Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I
died,
just
but, you know,
Yeah, it is rough.
and off screen like a bitch.
Yeah, the only downside of the movie I recall is like when they're like up in the tree and shit like that. I feel like the movie really drags on at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's definitely a slow part.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, them in the tree.
that was like the only
But I mean, other than that, I thought it was the pacing wasn't bad. Like I feel like they were able to keep the movie moving along, and
Better than the pacing of this podcast.
Dude, the pacing of this podcast is solid. Way better than Jurassic Park. No little tree moments. No kid sitting in some random dude's lap on the helicopter at the end of the ride of the movie. Like,
okay,
to
be fair to that guy, he just they just basically had a life or death like moment.
Yeah,
there.
it was like a nice bonding experience. But tell
Like,
me
he
why the
saved
lawyer
them
was in
from
the car.
death. Look, that was before the life or death experience. Okay, like I can't speak to that, but what, I don't know. And it's weird that they didn't. It's kind of weird. Like I feel like they didn't need to include the "oh, I hate kids and they smell" line.
Oh yeah,
in the
made me
beginning.
smell like
And,
poop.
and then later that he just like likes kids now. I mean, like that's fine or whatever. But I just feel like that's such a weird.
I mean,
line.
I think that's supposed to be.
It's a weird thing
growth,
for him to grow.
Show you the growth of his character throughout the film.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing for him to like.
I'm not going to argue that. But yeah, I think that's supposed to be kind of I think it's supposed to be character development for a character that's kind of. I think realistically, when you first meet him, is kind of fully fleshed out as a human. You know what I mean? Like he's pretty much got himself figured out.
I mean,
he's
a
in
little bit of a
relationship.
Dick,
he's all these different things. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but I think that's kind of where they tried to get the one kind of character growth moment is in his interest in kids and showing his growth through that, because he's a scientist, so it's not like you're going to show his intellectual growth. It's not like you're going to show his growth through his relationship, because he's in a pretty steady relationship with Laura Dern's character, who I don't remember the name of.
But her name is
Laura
Laura
Dern. That was the kind of the point of that whole his kids are smelly, and I don't really like kids type thing.
They smell.
Is to kind of give
apparently kids smell.
I think it's to kind of give it's to give him somewhere. It's to give him somewhere to go by the end of the movie.
Yeah, Ellie and Alan. I always get them confused because they're so similar.
I will say that character growth does feel old to me. Like that feels very much like a 90s character growth arc.
Early 90s though, like 1993-ish.
Right. Like I feel like a movie today wouldn't like a popular movie like that wouldn't really have an arc like that.
That brings up an interesting
point.
I
feel like popular movies today, if you don't want kids, you don't want kids.
Yeah. Do you guys think that movies today build on you having seen movies like this in the past, where you've already experienced that sort of relationship building, and they know they can't show you that again? They have to show you something different.
No.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, I think it's been if something's been done before, they assume, especially with
they're like, oh yeah, everybody's seen Jurassic Park. There's no way we could possibly show this to somebody.
Here's Jurassic.
This whole podcast devoted to model. Don't show me that thing because I haven't seen it. I like that.
Jurassic Park 2: Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, should have been the title. That should have been the title of Jurassic Park 2. Instead it was, here's Jurassic Park, but instead of Alan Grant, here's Vince Vaughn hanging out.
Okay, the title of Jurassic Park 2 is Lost World, right?
Starring Vince Vaughn.
Yes. Well, it's based on the book.
Vince Vaughn and Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, but
that was episode one thing. I was surprised. I was surprised at how little Jeff Goldblum was in this movie. Like I thought he was
just enough.
I know, but I'm just saying. Like I thought that he would be a way more prominent actor in this one, and that he actually didn't turn out to be that way.
Yeah, I think Jeff Goldblum has perfected the art of being that main side character.
Going in. Well, I think the fact that going into the movie, you see so much online in that about Jeff Goldblum
Right.
in Jurassic Park that you kind of
he's
assume
the
there's a
headline
lot
of every meme.
to it than what you're given by the end of it.
But
Yeah.
but like in this movie though, his character arc is unique just because he starts off as like the kind of like the guy that he almost seems like he shouldn't be there, or he shouldn't be the one who's probably evaluating this park, but then it turns out that like, oh hey, he's right. And then it's like, and maybe that's why then he doesn't really serve like that much of a huge purpose like towards the end of the going towards the end of the movie, because he gets, I mean, technically gets taken out.
Yeah, same time as
like,
the pedophile.
like early on,
Right,
like midway through. But at that point, like he's already like his point, I guess, like has already been proven, and so then he kind of turns around as being okay. Then he walks out being like technically the smartest guy in the room or whatever. But
oh no,
Just like
I don't know.
and Ron.
Just like in what?
God
It's
damn it.
also
Documentary.
interesting company. You should have bought stock puts on. But
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, Jeff Goldblum's odd because his character, Carlos is right, is kind of shows
All
up
right.
and he plays the third party of the movie, the third wheel.
The third wheel is Dr. Sattler available?
Oh, I
Alan
love.
My bad.
Alan Grant goes full beta cock.
Yeah, he was like, yeah.
No, she's with
Okay.
me.
I loved Jeff Goldblum's laugh in the beginning.
Oh.
So you guys dig up bones, huh? Yeah.
When they're in the helicopter. Oh man.
That was so weird. Why did he decide to laugh
can
like
just
that? And
tell.
the director, like
can
Spielberg,
tell.
was cool with that. He was like, "Yeah, that is the laugh that I wanted. Thank you, Jeff."
You know the script said Jeff Goldblum laughter in like brackets in all caps, and he went, "What do you want me to do? Laugh? You want me to laugh here? Okay." Har 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 har.
Is that it? Is that the end?
Yeah,
of
I think so.
Episode 1.
I got a.
Jurassic.
We got time. I got a
Park.
little quiz for Cameron I put together while I was watching the movie.
All right, let's hear it.
It's
yeah.
really it's open to
Oh.
everybody. We're gonna call this we call it similar to two truths and a lie. We call it 2 myths and a fact. It's or 2 facts and a myth. Sorry, I got that backwards.
Oh fuck.
We're gonna give you two facts relating to the movie and 1 myth in any order I choose. And you're gonna have to pick out which one is the myth. Everybody can play along.
Okay.
So 3 things coming at you. The first one is this movie, Jurassic Park, has grossed $1 billion worldwide.
A billion. Okay.
All right.
What's the next?
Next up, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern. You saw them hanging out in the Jeep, playing with the water on her palm, whatever, chaos theory, BS.
Yeah.
They, after meeting on film, would later get engaged and married.
What?
And the third is that the Tyrannosaurus Rex noises were made of a combination of a few different animals, including a tiger and a penguin.
Wow, these are weird. I think the last ones. I
actually know. I know the myth.
I don't think.
Really?
I don't know if they got. I don't think Laura Dern got married to him. But honestly, I kind of want to say the $1 billion one. I don't know if it grossed $1 billion worldwide. I mean, like, are we talking real dollars or like today dollars? Or are we talking like
Trump dollars?
No,
they're
not
really
no.
U.S. dollars.
Fake dollars.
no, like real in the sense of like, are we talking like today's dollars or like 1993 dollars?
Like as of today, $1 billion worldwide.
$1 billion. I feel like I don't know. That's interesting. I guess it could have done $1 billion, but did it? No. You know what? I'm gonna say the first one is a lie. I'm gonna say the first one's a lie.
The $1 billion?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go around. Dylan, what do you think?
I think it's
The $1 billion?
also the $1 billion. What is this?
This is as of today. I
over
checked
its
today.
lifetime,
I took
or
a
is
poll.
this-
I called everybody that I knew, and I was like, "Hey, listen up." Yeah, as of today. Like no, not like. Don't go typing away. Don't go searching.
I'm not.
Don't go doing your math. Close
That
Excel.
was me. That's on me. That's Cam.
2 + 2
Cam's
is
doing his
1.
quick maths.
Cam's got his quick maps locked in. He's good to go.
I got my answer.
And Dylan's gonna say you say
Yeah.
$1 billion. Okay. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go billion. I'm going billion.
Oh,
We got,
it's the billion.
You think the $1 billion?
Lock it in.
All right. You guys are pretty sure that the $1 billion's a myth.
I don't think it.
All right, Carlos, hit me with it. Tell me what it is. The $1 billion? Wow. The bandwagon
Yeah, I'll say the
is
billion.
full.
I think the
bandwagon is full
billion's a
All
myth.
in.
Yeah.
of losers.
Oh no.
This movie has grossed, as of today, according to IMDb, it has grossed over $1 billion worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it
It's,
the Laura Dern thing?
It is the Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern. They did meet
I
and begin a
knew it.
relationship after meeting on set. But they were engaged for 2 years, never got married. That was the trick there. But yes, the interesting thing I thought was that the T-Rex noises were composed of tiger roars, penguin sounds, moose noises, all kinds of shit. They throw a bunch of different animal noises in a pot and fucking
Yeah, kind of like a soundboard.
The that scene that scene where all those like the ostrich looking dinosaurs are running through the field and they get attacked with, like when the T-Rex comes out and like attacks it. This is also in that special I saw. They said the CGI for that part was done off of one of the producers' dogs playing with a chew toy.
Oh, God.
Like the way it was, like the way it was shaking and attacking the like the smaller dinosaur. They said it was like they took like the movements, like the mocap of like
it
the
was
dog's
1993.
head
I had to
with,
get
like,
creative.
the chew toy.
It was a whole new world.
Thank you for listening to our
Well, this is solid quality
yes.
content. I studied a lot for this. Don't you
however long
downplay
this
it.
podcast is going to be.
Smash that,
Leave a
Smash
comment.
smash that like button.
How you enjoy Jurassic Park? Smash that subscribe
Listen to your
button.
mom's Facebook
Share it with a
page.
friend.
Add some hashtags.
Try the cocktail.
Live, laugh,
and
love.
tell Carlos how it is. Thanks
Shout out
to
to Recipe Girl
thanks
and her
to
lava
Recipe
flow
Girl.
cocktail.
Oh yeah.
I've had a few. It was good.
Post us on your MySpace page.
Oh, get it on Tumblr. Get it trending on Tumblr.
Do things trend on Tumblr?
I hope so.
Yeah, you get
Oh, I don't
notes,
fucking know
or is
Tumblr.
Is that a comment? What is
You're about to.
All right. Well, check the notes below for the Recipe Girl lava flow
Lava
cocktail.
flow cocktail.
Come
There wasn't
back
even any
next-
lava in
next
this movie.
time. We don't know what it's going to be. You know what? In,
Oh, I haven't
in
seen that
Jurassic
one. Have you
World
seen that
Fallen
one?
Kingdom,
Yeah.
there is lava.
Yeah.
So you've seen Fallen Kingdom, but you have yet
I
to
have.
watch the Force, not the Force Awakens, the Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker? Well, yes. One is
I've
better
seen
than
them
the
all,
other,
if
Cam,
that counts.
So give me.
No, we're not talking to you.
No, okay, sorry. I'll pipe down now. This is the outro of the podcast. I'll remember to keep my mic on mute. All right, Dylan, Cam, make sure you send this off. I gotta put my mic on mute. Cam's gonna get mad.
Tune in for the next one.